Are the Knicks in trouble in their first round matchup against the Pistons? Alex Day, B. London. I shall defer to you, sir. Go.
No, the Knicks are not in trouble in the first
I
round.
laugh at that. Why?
Look, Detroit's a great team. If you make the playoffs, you're a great team. If this Knicks team is who I think they're going to be and who they are, the Knicks should take care of them in 6, maybe 5. The Knicks can't go 7 with Detroit. Yes, the Knicks haven't played their best basketball. The Knicks also haven't been a healthy whole for much of the year. The Knicks are firmly in Tier 2, and Tier 1 is Cleveland, Boston, and Oklahoma City. Detroit, in my opinion, is Tier 3, Tier 4. Detroit's a great team. I think they're also tougher than the Knicks. Okay. But this Knicks team are built to beat a team like Detroit.
You just said who this Knicks team is. Who
Yeah.
is this Knicks team? Is it the Knicks team that wins 51 games? Or is it the Knicks team that can't beat a top-tier team in the NBA? Or is it the same Knicks team that went 1-3 against this Tier 3 Detroit Pistons team that you're talking about that they're about to match up with? When we talk about everything down from coaching to aggressiveness to just overall physicality, the Pistons are winning this matchup. Now, the Knicks will win this series, but they're going to limp into that second round bruised up because the bad boys of 2025 are going to make sure they get their licks in on this Knicks team.
I'm definitely worried about that because I think last year's Knicks team, that identity was more built to face a team like Detroit.
Absolutely.
When you have guys like Hardenstein, and you have guys like Julius Randle, Dante, and then you replace them with Cat and Bridges. Yes, those guys are good on offense. Those guys are much softer than the 3 guys they had last year. If the Knicks got in a fight this year, who do you feel good about those guys throwing hands against Isaiah Stewart?
I'm calling Josh Hart.
I'm calling Josh Hart, maybe even OG.
PJ Tucker as
PJ
well.
Tucker, of course, got some muscle on the bench.
Yeah.
I need this Knicks team to win in 5 or 6 for that reason. Who's the second option for Detroit? Exactly. It's Cade.
Easily.
Come on, man. If you ranked every single player between both teams, I think the Knicks have 6 of the top 7 players in the series,
without a doubt,
7 of 8.
But sometimes it's not about that, Alex. Sometimes it's about just the overall momentum that a team can have going into the playoffs. You talk about the job that J.B. Bickerstaff has done with his team. 30 more wins than what they had last season. Now you got Cade Cunningham, who is a young, bright star in this league. He's ready to take on that next role as the villain to come into the Garden and shut the lights out in that building.
Detroit's good. They don't have the experience, they don't have the depth, and they don't have the top-end talent. They have toughness and one great player. They're a great team, and they're riding more momentum than the Knicks. The Knicks need to do what the Knicks can do with Detroit. I don't mess around. I want it in 5. If it's in 6, it's in 6. But if this series goes to 7, you can count the Knicks out against Boston.
I'm going to throw a couple stats at you because when we talk about the Pistons, and I believe they offer more than just aggressiveness and physicality.
Definitely. They're a great team.
Look at it, 36.2% behind the arc on the season. When they play the Knicks, I think that jumps up to like in the 40s.
The Knicks' 3-point defense has been atrocious this year.
And then when we talk about points in the paint, Detroit is top 5 in terms of fewest points allowed in the paint. What are the Knicks? Jalen Brunson drives to the lane.
Here's what they're going to do.
In the paint, gets buckets. You're going to force a Mikal Bridges. You're going to force Josh Hart. And these guys who are kind of tier 2, tier 3 type players to beat them. I think the Pistons are ready to walk into the Garden with their chest out because these young boys, like they don't fear anyone on the Knicks. I think they can win this series.
Here's what I'm expecting the Knicks to do. I'm expecting them for large portions of the game to have Cat and Mitchell Robinson on the floor at the same time. Because in my opinion, I don't love the idea of having both Cat and Bridges on the floor at the same time against a physical Detroit team. You know, I think you can only have one guy who isn't tenacious on the floor at once.
Those are the guys you traded for. Those are the guys that you paid tariffs for to bring in here. They got to be on the court at the same time.
I'm fine with this 5 of Brunson, Hart, Anunoby, Cat, and Robinson. That's a tough starting 5. And then you have Bridges, you have Deuce, you have Precious. Okay? Those 8 right there should take care of business. And I think having 2 7-footers on the floor, making it hard for the Pistons to go inside, the same way that they're going to try to make it tough for the Knicks to go inside. You know what? I haven't seen any team really try to disrupt Brunson in the paint. He does that better than anyone else in the game. Getting into the lane, drawing contact, the floater, the hezzy, the Euro step, the jelly, all of it. I trust Brunson getting into the lane. You know Hart's going to play winning basketball. And if OG stays as aggressive as he's been, that's a big third ingredient.
You say you feel comfortable.
I feel
about
comfortable.
That 8, right?
Yeah.
About that 8.
Yep.
That 8 has no legs left because they play all the minutes of every single game. Now we're
talking about Detroit, not Boston.
But they beat Detroit is walking in here up 3-1 in the regular season series. Now you throw it out because it's the playoffs. But the Knicks, we see them. They always come out first half. Knicks up by 12.
Yep.
Bang! Knicks got a 16-point lead. Second
that was a good
half,
Mike Breen.
These dudes' legs are shaking
No.
like me on a roller coaster.
Not in the first
bro.
round.
Like they do
not in the
have-
first round.
What, they automatically, Tibbs is going to start going into the
look
bench
last
and playing
year.
Kolick and Campaign and
No.
those guys?
Look,
not in the playoffs.
Look last year against Philly. Against Philly, Tibbs was giving them the usual 38 to 42 minutes a game, and they did with Philly what they had to do. Against Boston, it's a different story.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for the Knicks to get through Detroit, and not just get through Detroit, get through them in less than 6 games.
They'll beat them, but it's going to go to 6 to 7 in my opinion. So they are in trouble. But wrap us up.
What's your official prediction?
Knicks in 6.
Okay, I have Knicks in 6, but I can't say the same thing as you. So give me Knicks in 5.
But that's in trouble. That means they're in trouble. This should be taking out the trash.
Okay,
for
Knicks
them.
in 5.
Don't play with your food.
Knicks in agreed.
But you didn't say
Knicks
it
in
with your
5.
chest, though.
Knicks in 5.
You're not saying it with your chest, though.
I'm not saying it with my chest, but I'm saying Knicks in 5.
So they're in trouble then?
No, I don't think they're in trouble. In trouble against Detroit would mean Knicks in 7. In trouble against Boston would mean Knicks in 6. I'm hoping it's Knicks in 5.
All right, we'll see.
Make way. Let's go. Bring on Boston.